Hi guys, how are you? Morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. My name is Beth. I am so excited to have you here today with me. I am so grateful that you spared your time to watch my video. This video, I want us to talk about encouraging ourselves, inspiring ourselves, despite the many challenges that we may face in life. Because in this life and in these times we are facing, there are so many challenges. There are so many challenges. And even before this challenge called Corona, before this disease, before this pandemic, there were still so many challenges that we were facing. And so sometimes I sit and wonder, how should people handle their challenges? Small and big, small challenges and big challenges in their lives. I have sat, I have thought, I have contemplated, I have read, and I have realized that all of us, one time or the other, we are faced with challenges. And we are faced with challenges that sometimes when you see them happening to other people, you may think that they are just small issues. But when they come now knocking on your door, that's when you realize that these challenges can be tough. And I realized that we sometimes we have to develop techniques, and these techniques have been written about, they have been spoken about, and different people will handle the techniques differently. I'm not going to talk about the techniques, but there's one major thing, or maybe one of those techniques that we can use, and I have used occasionally in my life to handle issues, especially difficulties. And one of them, and the technique that I want to talk about, is self-motivation or self-encouragement. Just encouraging yourself. Looking back, and you look back when you had a serious situation facing you, and then you wonder, how did I do that? How did I manage that situation? So self-motivation or self-inspiration, or getting the same way we talk about self-discipline, when you're handling your issues, your career, if you're a student, when you wake up without being woken up, without being pushed to go and do your work, without being pushed to go and do your assignments. So I thought about it. In many cases, and this is what we've been doing anyway, we motivate ourselves, because you may not really tell people all the time what you're going through all the time. You may not even tell people what you're planning to do all the time. So you motivate yourself. You tell yourself, Beth, my name is Beth. This time, or in this challenge, you must do this. You must, this challenge, you must go through it. This mountain, you must face it. You must face it, and you must go through this challenge. I mean, you must succeed. Okay, sometimes we succeed at different percentage. Okay, sometimes we don't even achieve what we want to achieve. So what happens? What happens? You wanted this, you don't get it. What do? You motivate yourself. Maybe you tried, you worked so hard, you did this. So what do? You just motivate yourself to achieve the next thing possible. You tell yourself, you call yourself to a small meeting behind the tent. Beth, you call yourself behind the tent and tell yourself, Beth, here, I think this is what you will do. Of course, you pray. You ask God, what am I going to do? I am normally encouraged by this example of the four lepers. The four lepers in Second Kings, if I'm not wrong, someone correct me. Second Kings, chapter 7, when there was famine in Israel. There was famine in Israel, and the city, was it the city of Jericho? No, not Jericho. I'll confirm with the Bible. There were these four lepers that were thrown out of the city because people were fearing, we might get infected. There's famine, there were many issues, and these four lepers had been rejected by their people, and they were facing leprosy. They were facing difficulties. I'm always encouraged by that. I mean that verse, 2 Kings chapter 7. And these four lepers, among their different issues that they were discussing, they sat and they discussed what was facing them. And they sat down and they discussed, and they said, if we continue sitting here, there is famine in the city. We will eventually die if we continue sitting here without doing anything. These are lepers. And they took time to discuss their problems, and they took time to discuss what is the solution to this problem. And they said, if we continue sitting here, we are going to die. So, and if we move to the camp of the enemy that is facing Israel, we are going to die still. If we go, the enemy might kill us. But again, they sat and discussed and agreed, it's better we just go anyway, because we are not in any better situation sitting here. Days are going, nothing is happening, things are not working out for us, things are becoming worse. We are sick with this incurable disease. Now there is famine. We've been kicked out by our people. What do we do? So they sat and they agreed to move on, despite, lepers cannot even walk properly. Already they are rejected. Now they're going to face the enemy. Imagine lepers facing the enemy, even without anything to fight with. They don't have tools. They don't have weapons to defend themselves. So they walked in the night. I think it was at dawn. They decided to just take a risk, and they walked towards the camp of the enemy. This I use this a lot to encourage myself quietly. And they walked. As they were walking, a miracle happened. God caused their steps. These steps, remember, they may not have been able, because of their sickness, they may not have been able to step boldly on the ground. They were stepping softly because their feet are wounded by the disease. So they walked towards the camp of the enemy at night. At dawn, towards morning. And as they were walking, God caused their steps to sound as though there were chariots which were moving very fast towards the camp of the enemy. And the enemy thought, the camp of the enemy, they thought that now the Israelites have ganged together, they have come now to fight us, and they were so scared. And so they collected whatever they could collect, their children, and they moved. The Bible says they left everything, but they just fled. They fled themselves, they fled. Leaving valuables behind, leaving everything behind in the tents. They fled because they feared now they have been attacked eventually by the Israelites, even though Israel was under siege. That city, I cannot remember the city, I'll confirm. So, when these four lepers reached the first tent, the second tent, they wondered, what happened? What happened? What is happening here? I think they were really surprised, and they were impressed. They were pleasantly surprised by what happened. By what they found. They were like, we are not finding people here. What is happening? So they started picking a few things that they could pick. Food, they ate. Remember, they were hungry for a long time, for several days at the gate. No food. So they collected, and the story continues. I may not really, of course, eventually they saved their city by going back to tell the king what happened. And they came and collected food from the camp of the enemy and all that. And remember, now these 4 lepers became led to the salvation of their people, these 4 lepers, because of their boldness, because of encouraging themselves, because of refusing to quit. They refused to quit. They refused to die at the gate, and they refused to be dejected. They refused to continue lying down. They refused to remain down. They chose to rise up, get a solution for themselves, and get a solution for their people as well. What an encouragement, my people, what an encouragement. Now, we are faced with pandemic. Each one of us, whether you know it or not, I mean, whether we say it or not, we are facing 1 or 2 issues here and there. And so, my people, what I would say, and what I can tell everybody in the world, in Kenya, in Africa, young and old, get a verse in the Bible, get a verse in the Quran, get a verse in some book, get a chapter, get a mantra, get something that you know, when you're faced by something, you pick that example, have it in your mind. I am going to encourage myself using this. I am going to encourage myself, because you see, if you give up today, you don't know what is awaiting you tomorrow. Good things are awaiting us anyway. Good things. So it's good to just persevere as you encourage yourself, as you get something to do, as you find something to do, something that is going to be constructive. And you never know, you're going to rescue yourself, and you're going to rescue your people, and many more people, in fact, maybe the whole nation, even the whole world. So that is what I had to say today, just to motivate ourselves, to encourage ourselves, even as we move on in this life. Because this life is one life, and there are many unpredictable things. And we, as long as we are still healthy and still alive, I think it is good. It is, even if we are not healthy, we are still alive. So even for those who may not be very healthy, we are still alive, and so there is hope for good things to come. And that hope it's like a candle in the wind, a candle. So that candle, if it can, it may be faced with a lot of, that wind, and sometimes it can go off, but that flickering, we can still, rekindle that fire within us if we don't give up. Don't give up, people. Don't give up. There's hope. There's hope. Businesses may have gone down. Jobs may have been lost. Now, don't give up. Think about the 4 lepers. Send out that application. Don't give up. Do what you need to do. Life must go on. Olympics is just completed today. Yeah, I mean, even if there was pandemic, Olympics is still going on. People are still winning gold. And how do they win gold? I was looking at our Kipchoge today, and our Perez. Gold, our golden girl and golden man. And they did us proud. May God bless them. And I was thinking, what is going on in their minds? What is going on in their hearts? And I'm very sure they have some mantra that they use to motivate themselves. Even as they are running, you're running in a crowd of hundreds of people. What makes you motivate yourself to the winning line despite the crowd? I'm very sure that they use some mantra in their lives. They use something to encourage themselves to move on, because challenges are many. So let's continue motivating ourselves, and even motivating others, so that we may all succeed in this journey of life. Thank you so much. Please subscribe to my channel, and God is going to lift you up together. Thank you so much. Thank you for watching. Thank you. Bye. See you in my next video. Bye.